Welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I wasn't going to do the show today. I figure I did a Monday show, we did a Tuesday show, and then I sort of thought, well, Wednesday was the day that we normally do these shows, and how could I miss this day? But I will tell you, you can thank the channel members and Patreons and all those things for motivating me to get out of bed. It's casual day, as you can see. Uh, every day's casual day. But anyway, not a whole lot planned. I've had some questions that I'm going to answer, and I'll answer some of your questions. And we'll do all those things right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there can waste time without you. All right, let's say hello to some people. Let's say hello to some channel members. That's I am so happy that you guys subscribe and be our members. Hello, Jason, Michelle. Present and accounted for. That's Jason Holstein, been a channel member for quite some time. California Dreaming, saying hello to Michelle, who is moderating the chat as we speak. Let's see. Brian Kirk, he's ready to waste some time. And so many great people watching. And I'm thankful. Last night we had an interesting conversation with Matt Thorne. We should recap the week for those of you who haven't watched. And you know, if you go to live video replays, you can see what you missed. But on Monday, Wednesday 13 came in, and he's normally here on Wednesday. The reason he was here today, on Monday, was that he's got a concert this week here in Las Vegas, Sick New World Festival, sold out. And Wednesday added Wednesday, sold out like that. These other bands, not so much. But so he stopped by because they're in rehearsals this week, and we had a fun chat. In fact, a 4-hour and 4-minute chat. Today's show will be 1 hour. That's it. And then last night Matt Thorne was here, and he showed us his new technology. If you guys didn't see these things are called NFCs. They look like little keychains, and inside there's a little tiny, it looks like a CD, but you hold it up to your phone. You watch the show. He explained it better than I did, and he told some amusing stories. We talked about life on the road. This week coming up, it's going to be a busy one. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. That's usually what comes after Wednesday, but I can't remember. I know I got stuff planned, but I know that Saturday we're going to go to the Sick New World Festival. We're going to get up bright and early. Wednesday 13 goes on at noon. If any of you are there, feel free to come over and say hello. I'll have a more appropriate shirt on. It's good. Weather's going to lighten up. It's been in the 90s here in Vegas, but Sick New World, it's going to be in the 70s. So we got a little break, maybe. I don't know. And then I think on Sunday night, I think we're going to go see the Scorpions. I think that's the plan as of now. Scorpions are in their 90s as well, so maybe better see them one last time before it's too late. Here's Jay Lee Smith with the super sticker. Thank you for getting that rolling. Colleen Gallagher, channel member, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Al P, I think Al P is a new member from Chicago. So, as I read some of the questions, I think I could just go off at any second. You know, I try my best to stay patient and hold it together. But a lot of people have asked me about Patreon. The most common question is, what's the difference between Patreon and a channel membership? Now, look, none of you have to do any of these things. As long as you're here, thank you, Ron, no mercy. And sweep the leg. So I'm going to try to explain it, but no one has to do anything. If you want to support this channel, subscribe. That's the easiest thing you can do. Subscribe. If you want to really be nice, like the video, subscribe, comment. All these things are what they called engagement. and it can't hurt to be engaged. Well, I mean, maybe for some people. So that's the easy things you can do. But if you really want to go the extra mile and have that extra push off the cliff, then you can become a channel member, which is on the front of this site. Now, I'm told you can only do it on a a desktop device, your PC, your laptop, that kind of thing. Supposedly you can't do it on your phone. I don't know, but it says join, and you will click on it, and you will earn perks. One, you stand out in the chat. You're going to get these fun like color things, and soon you'll have emojis and other things that only you could share. But most importantly, you'll get early access to videos. Right now, I've been touring, but guess what? After that, there's lots of tour diaries that you guys will sometimes watch even weeks ahead as it goes. So I want to thank everybody who's become a channel member. We've cracked 50, I think, so far, and I'm so glad. Sean Brown is probably one of the nicest and most generous channel members. And let's see what he says. Hello, Jason. Since you've been talking about cruises recently, have you seen the latest demo of the video game Titanic Honor and Glory released last week? It's surreal and on YouTube. I highly recommend checking it out. It sounds crazy. A Titanic video game? I mean, what will they think of next? It sounds nuts. But I'm interested, Sean. I'm going to look at it. I wish you would have wrote me sooner. We could have all looked at it together. Anyway, Sean is a channel member. So, but if being a channel member is not enough for you, there's Patreon. Right now, I don't sell any merchandise. When this show started, I was very uncomfortable with the idea of charging people for anything. But then this has become sort of a full-time job. As much as I love to stay here and chat, uh, it's appreciated. So anyway, we don't sell merch yet, but I will tell you that there's trucker hats and there's coffee mugs. This is the creature from the Black Lagoon, but soon there will be Waste Some Time with Jason Green coffee mugs. Excuse me. Mm. And then there's some T-shirts and some other things, and then there's a few things that are going to be special for later in the year. We actually are going to have a Halloween merch and a Christmas merch. And if you like it, you can buy it. But for right now, what I wanted to make is the only merch we have is only available through Patreon. So people ask me, how do I get one of these guitar picks? The green one is my punk band Sin City Rejects, and the white one is from this show, and they are both signed on the back. Okay, so you can get those, and then I got these pictures, these notes cards. I don't know what they are, but I signed them, and then that and the pics go in the mail to you. I found out that most of the Patreon tiers were sold out. This is the message I got. I'm trying to join Patreon, but it's sold out. I wanted to keep it to be an exclusive club, so I added 5 more spots in one tier, and I added 3 more spots in the other tier. And so if you want to get in on that, you can do it. It's $5 for the first tier, and you get this stuff. And then $10, you get to watch videos early. You still get the stuff. And then I think it's $25 that you get to. I think you get to come over to my house for dinner, and Malfunction will be there too. Um, Sean's saying someone got a haircut. I hope you mean you. My hair is the same. It's just a little, just fresh out of the shower. It's a little straighter, but no haircut. And we'll talk more about Sean because people have been reacting to our posts. But anyway, so those are the things. Patreon link is in the description. You sign up, we send you stuff. It's an annual thing, and there's a chance to ask questions of guests. So that's kind of the thing. I shared a photo of Sean Clark and I. We were out on the town. We went to the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and in his trunk he had a Michael Myers mask from Halloween 2, Rob Zombie Halloween 2. And it's not that he drives his collection around, but because he wanted to show off. No, he was getting it worked on. It was a slight tear, and only Sean Clark can have an Academy Award winner work on his mask, and so he did that. Anyway, a lot of people enjoyed being able to see it, and I'm hoping one of these days to go see more of Sean's collection. But for those of you who don't get the invite to come over to his house, it is on his YouTube channel, Malfunction. And Sean is one of my favorite guests. There's a few people here that I always like to have on. He says it looks shorter, maybe just to the way I or straightened it. Dr. Paul Shortino says, apologies for being late. I was in deep conversation with the big ragu down at the pizza bowl. That's my kind of reference. Wayne is a patron from Henderson. Do you know the person that played? Getting old. Gort in the original The Day the Earth Stood Still. I do not, but maybe Sean Clark would know. That doesn't sound like his area of expertise either, but um, he is the king of Sparky Marcus trivia, though. Anyway, I had nothing prepared. Yeah, someone says send Sean the link. I would love to, but that's up to Sean. I have a problem with bothering my friends to do things. Sean has his own channel and he has his own life, but if he wanted to come by, he's more than welcome. I'd send him the link. He says not a clue. True, he is no Sparky Marcus. If you guys are wondering who Sparky Marcus is, he is a cast member of Sigmund and the Sea Monster. And Sean, in his vast collection, has an item that needs him to finish in a photo, signed by everybody but Sparky Marcus, who's making his first appearance ever. Thomas Marshall says, I watched American Werewolf with commentary for Sean today. His channel remind me how good that film is. American Werewolf's a great one. Sean put out a video yesterday, the Exorcist 50th anniversary location. So I enjoyed it. I've been into Washington, D.C. many times and I've passed by, but long before I really thought to appreciate it. And so it's a fun video. One of the things about The Exorcist is the locations are fairly accessible. I mean, he went to some of the hardcore ones. He went to Roosevelt Island. My first girlfriend lived on Roosevelt Island, and the medical center was there when I went back when I was a young man, but it's not there now. But good video. If you like to see locations, this is he's got the thing for you. Let's see. Yes, it's Denise. Jason, do you watch Creature Features channel? I love watching all those terrible B horror movies, but some of them are good. I'm not sure I watched that, but I did start watching the Universal Monsters channel on Pluto, which is great. And I watched Revenge of the Creature, which is the second in the Creature from the Black Lagoon trilogy, featuring an early appearance by the one and only Clint Eastwood, believe it or not. And the star of that movie was an actor named John Agar. Sean might remember John Agar used to appear at these collector shows. I used to call them the Quartz Show because they were run by a guy named Ray Quartz that took place at the Beverly Garland Hotel, and I guess that'd be called Burbank, I think. And I think I'm losing my mind. I was right in the middle of a deep thought. John Agar. Anyway, I was fortunate to meet him. And the woman who the lead in the movie, Laurie Miller is her name. She lived up until a couple of years ago, which is crazy because from now, almost everybody, Clint Eastwood's alive, but almost every horror actor from Universal movies has passed. Yeah, see, Sean got him to autograph a Nightbreed poster, and he was really old at these conventions, but it definitely cool to me. And so I enjoyed watching Revenge of the Creature, although it's very depressing. In this movie, they stick the creature in like a zoo, an aquarium, and they test him and they starve him. And yeah, anyway, but some creature is better than no creature. Rico Browning is the actor who played the creature in the water. He's the only actor who was actually in all three movies. And Revenge of the Creature, Sean says he'll jump on for a little bit. So that's good because I don't want to sit here and talk by myself. But Rico Browning, I was fortunate to meet, and he lived a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the link for Sean. And while we do that, we're going to put on what we call a little bit of hold music. I've been preparing for this for a long time. So you're going to get a backdrop called Purple Rain. Here it is now. Oh, here we go. It's not working. Backgrounds. All right, well, hold on. I got it. I'll take myself out of All right. Turn the music off, and we're back. Hold on. Fix this frame. I got questions for Sean Clark. I'm glad he's here. It saves me a phone call, and so hopefully with the miracle of television and internet. Sean Clark will join us very soon. For those of you who are new here, not familiar with Sean, he is the host of a thing called Horror's Hollow Grounds, where he goes to locations of famous horror movies. He's got one called Hollywood's uh, Hollow Grounds too, which is good. And I only hope to produce content as good as Sean's when it comes to locations. Sorry, I apologize for this unprofessionalism. I've shot some videos myself of different locations and got some cool ones coming soon. While we wait for Sean, let's see how everyone's doing. Okay. Yeah, the elevator music is a new addition, and Kenda Lynn is asking, "Is anyone joining?" She's trying to be nice. What she's really asking is Wednesday joining? I'm not. You're not fooling me. Um, that's what you're here for, and no, he's not. But Sean Clark will be here uh, very soon. Okay. Thoughts on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees? I'm not sure it's an interesting subject. I know a lot of people have talked about it. I don't know. It's all bullshit, right? I mean, at some point, every single band will be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there'll be nothing left to complain about. Um, Thoughts on the Black Crowes? Boring. Always thought they were boring. Not my band. Go see the Rolling Stones if I want to see that. Blues rock. I mean, I'm sure they're nice and they had some okay songs and blah blah blah, but not for me. Mark Sanchez, good to see you, Mark. Thank you. Is Wednesday in rehearsals? Yes, he is. Tonight is rehearsals for Sick New World, and he's adding a new member of his band. You've heard that here first. I don't know if anyone knows that, but yeah. Anyway, he got a new member of the band. All right. Did I go for dinner with Johnny last night? No, Johnny flaked. Johnny spreads himself too thin. He's recording and helps people fix things, and he helps little old ladies cross streets, and he, he's helping kids fly kites, and then he gets busy, and that is goes for this tonight as well. All right. So in just a little bit, Sean Clark. We won't stay too long. Last time Sean was here, I stayed 3 hours um, as well. So, uh, but not tonight. I may go to a movie. I'm trying to figure it out. And like I said, this weekend, Sick New World and the Scorpions. Scorpions 75th anniversary tour. So how many more can they have? You can't miss that. A lot of questions about Tyler. Tyler is the singer for Dogs D'Amour. I don't think I've met Tyler. I will tell you that when I got to LA, people would tell me how important the Dogs D'Amour was and how great Tyler was, and it escaped me. It was over my head. I mean, maybe they're great, but some people really do worship them. Is Mickey D still in the Scorpions? Yeah, he is. He's Mickey D is still there. Great drummer. A great interview on the show. All right, let's welcome Sean Clark. Enough of the fooling around. How are you, Sean?
Hey.
Thank you. You try to just watch a little YouTube and then you get dragged in.
I was just funny thing is I was actually watching your video. I was watching you and Wednesday's recap of our hangout times.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting a kick out of some of those backstage stories at the Rainbow.
I try to be discreet in some of the stories. Yeah.
I need Omer off air. I need some answers to a few things. Okay, I was like, who's he talking about? But anyway,
that's a good point. Yeah, sometimes it comes off a little vague, but we had a great time. The rain opened up just in time for you to get there. Once you arrived, there was no rain, as Blind Melon would say. And And then we had a nice dinner, and it was fun, and people really enjoyed seeing the Rob Zombie Michael Myers 2 mask. And
Yeah. Hmm.
Sean, I tell you, I have all these questions, and then I said, so I bought my first mask ever. I bought the 1978 Michael Myers from Trick or Treat Studios. I don't get any money for saying this,
Not the one behind
and
you.
it's right behind me, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
get a closer look. And but I tell you, are they? I'm so worried. I bought it because I thought it would be nice to have your client Nick Castle sign it. But what my fear is, do these things actually hold up? Can you sign this thing and it'll be around in a few? It's very dirty, but I guess that's part of the.
Yeah. That's part of the look. Hey, latex, you never know. That thing could be toast in 10 years, it could be toast in 50. You just never know with latex. It really depends on the quality of latex they used. Um, I have some masks that I cannot believe are like pristine that are 30 years old, and I have some that are 10 and they're already starting to get crispy and crack. And it's the one thing that's, believe me, every time I buy a goddamn prop that's either latex or foam latex, foam latex is the worst because it just gets hard and then it just crumbles. It just starts to flake and turns into dust. That whole goddamn pillar of souls I have is pretty much foam, you know.
Wow,
So
yeah.
I get nervous every time I look at it. I'm like, oh man, you know.
Sean, I found how you got into masks interesting, and maybe we could just recap it for a second, and then we'll talk about more arbitrary things. But you basically were making molds of masks yourself and selling them out of the back of magazines, right?
Yeah, I mean that's not how it started. I found an original Captain Kirk mask, and a buddy of mine was like, we should mold that because he wanted a copy. He was basically being selfish. Um, and and then I thought to myself, well, if we make a mold of it, and then we means we can make more than one, right? And he's like, yeah. And I go, dude, you know how many people would want this thing? So I thought, maybe we could sell a couple of them. So I bought a tiny little uh, text ad in the back of Fangoria magazine. This is like 1994. I'm guessing. And put it like, I think I put like $60, not having even made one yet, knowing what went into it.
Mhm. That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
And the orders just flooded. I mean, like, probably in the first week, 50 orders. And I was just like, holy crap. I mean, it was overwhelming and I had to learn pretty quick. So,
That's what I'm wondering. You didn't have a background in mask molding. How do you figure it out?
well, my buddy who said we should mold that, he used to work, well, he was an aspiring effects artist.
Mhm.
Funny enough, does work for Trick or Treat Studios today. Um,
Wow.
but we were in bands together. He was my bass player. And funny, so he was in a fairly popular band in the early 2000s that was on Lit's label, Dirty Martini Records. It was a band called Handsome Devil. He
Yeah,
was
I
the
remember.
bass player. He was the bass player of Handsome Devil. His name's Darren Roberts. Anyway, we're still buddies to this day. But he was a bass player in a couple prior bands I was in. Anyway, he wasn't trying to be a musician. He was a musician trying to be an effects artist, which ended up becoming an effects artist, becoming a professional musician that then went back to effects. Well, at least in that, he works in some film stuff, but it's a lot of freelance. And anyway, he knew how to do this stuff, but I had to quickly learn as well because I was really the one that had to make them. After he molded it and I had the mold, I then had to produce them. So if you see some of my early ones, they're pretty rough. I got better.
They're collectible though, aren't they? I mean, I feel like your masks are they sought after?
Well, it's funny, those first ones I'm kind of embarrassed of, but they are collectible. But as we progressed and turned into a little bit of a company, we got good. I started hiring good people to do the hard work. So,
Was there ever a trademark problem?
you know, no, because we were so underground and under the radar. This was way before companies like Trick or Treat Studios had the license, and I didn't even know anything about licensing. I was
Sure,
just
this is
doing
a
it.
while back.
Yeah, I'm making shit that I couldn't get that I wanted. So that was the that was the that was the whole motivation, really. Just, like, and what I would do, I started getting some of this stuff, and then I started trying to share the love with other fans, like, but I started working directly with some of the companies, like Greg Nicotero I've known for like 30 years. And I approached him about using his movie molds of the Halloween 5 mask and the Halloween H2O mask that KMB did, which was later replaced. And we used their actual movie molds, did limited runs from the movie mold of 30 each. Greg signed the COAs and everything. And I did the same thing with Halloween 6 with John Carl Beekler. And we used the movie molds and he signed the COAs. So we were trying to get as legitimate as we could, but we technically were still, I guess, bootleg because we didn't have the Halloween rights or whatever.
It's funny because later everyone started realizing, well, who thought there'd be so much Halloween 3 merchandise, that this would be a hot property?
Hey, Chris Zeffro, who's a friend of mine, called me last night, as a matter of fact. He is the owner of Trick or Treat Studios. He was a fan who used to buy masks from me. And one day he contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm going to start this mask company. I'd like you to come in on it with me." And I was like, "Good luck with that, pal." I blew him off. Admittedly, I fucked up. So now he's like, got the biggest mask company of all time, I think.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, and everybody carries their products, and but yeah, it's interesting too because Sean, some of my better friends have jobs that you can't just say it in one sentence. You couldn't
Hmm.
say, Sean does this. You
Hmm.
could say that he hosts Horror's Hollow Grounds and he does horror. You could also say that you're a convention agent. You book people for agents. You at one point you were a mask builder. You produce other content, collectibles. So there's different facets to what you do, which I always find
Hmm.
much more interesting. But it's hard to say in a soundbite. There's some good questions for Sean, which is good because I'm usually hard on people's questions. We'll start with Mark Sanchez. I think I know the answer to this, but he says, and thank you for the super chat. Do either of you have Busta Rhymes autograph from the Halloween movie? That movie sucked. My guess is Sean has it.
Nope.
No,
No,
no.
no, never met him. I think we reached out to try to get him to come to the Halloween conventions, but didn't get any love. I did meet LL Cool J at the Halloween H2O premiere and
Mhm.
and got him to sign a couple things there. But and I met him I bumped into him at a club one night too. He was super cool. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, I've met him
Can't
too.
speak for Busta.
Yes, I don't know. I do. He does signings either for comic books or an alcohol, whatever he's doing. And I've heard that he does often sign Halloween related.
Are we
Yeah,
talking about Busta or LL?
Busta,
No,
yeah.
Busta. No.
And all right, so okay, couple questions. RJ's question is, Sean, in your opinion, what is the weirdest movie prop that you own? You must have something that makes people say, "What the hell is that?" Yeah.
God, weirdest movie prop. I'd probably have to go take a peek in my main room there to see if there's something that jumps out at me like, oh yeah, definitely that. I'm sure there is an obvious one that I'm just missing. Um, but I guess
There's some
hmm,
teeth and things, right? I mean, that's kind of
yeah,
odd. Maybe.
yeah. I guess one of the weirdest would be Randall Pink Floyd's uh belt buckle from Dazed and Confused, which is also a pipe that he smokes out of.
Mhm.
If you recall the famous, you know, Wooderson line of "That's what I like about those high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age." While he's saying that whole thing, if you watch Randall Pink up against the wall behind him, he pops off his belt buckle, lights it up, smokes out of it, and puts it back on. I
And
have
you
that
have
belt
it.
buckle. Yeah.
Have you considered smoking out of it?
I don't smoke, never have.
Yeah,
So
that'll.
the answer would be no. But funny thing is, Jason London, who played Pink, came to my house and hand delivered that to me at my house. He hung out for a while, played some pinball. Anyway,
Yeah, that's definitely a weird piece. It's funny. The other day, somebody brought up the adult film actress Chasey Lane, and I pointed out that I have a replica of her most private of areas.
mhm.
It's probably latex. I don't know,
Hmm.
and but it's autographed. I had her autograph it, more just for the goof of having someone sign that. Anyway, that
Is it an actual sex toy or is it just a mold?
I would believe it could be used as a toy. Yeah, I
Oh,
think it could. But this thing was like it was a big, heavy thing. And you could imagine this was pre 9/11, thankfully, but you could imagine checking it through at the airport. Just wondering if anyone is going to. It was sort of like a dare. Like we went to some event and someone gave it to us, and then I was like, well,
mhm.
how I got to have her autograph it. And at this point, I can't imagine the black sharpie hasn't seeped completely into it. And this is going back now, you know,
You still
25
have it?
years. I told the story the other day. It's in my mother's apartment in New York,
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
hoping she doesn't. I hope she hasn't sold it on eBay. Or think less of me than she might have before. But collectors collect strange things. Skylar's question: does Sean ever get spooked out visiting haunted places?
Um, no. I mean, well, first off, I don't really visit haunted places. I'm more of a filming location guy, but um I guess I love to get spooked out. I wish I could more. But not really, no. I mean,
What When you went to the Vic Morrow location, not that I'm saying it was spooky, although it's a tragic situation, but I
yeah.
felt like what you were battling through was scary. Maybe more
That
scary than a snake would bite you.
yeah, that was I mean, that was an adrenaline rush because uh we're trespassing and weren't supposed to be on that property. B, we were fighting through some incredibly thick bamboo. I mean, like it got to a point where it got claustrophobic and I had no idea where I was and I was worried about getting lost out there,
Yeah,
you know. Um and then yeah, the elements of what kind of critters could be in all this thick brush. And then the eeriness of, him and that kid losing their heads and the other little girl dying and yeah,
mhm.
yeah, I mean, but was I spooked out? No, it was more just like adrenaline rush, really.
That's what I would think. I've gone to film things that were in bad neighborhoods. I went downtown LA, which is all a bad neighborhood,
Yeah.
to film um, where the Morrison Hotel record, the back of the record was. It's a grocery store. Now a lot of people have covered it,
Hmm.
and it's now it was a Hard Rock Cafe at one point, and the photo of them sitting down is taken in there. I was frightened because I was receiving receiving death threats. It was bad. It was the worst I'd ever had to deal with while doing that kind of thing. And people warned me, these neighborhoods aren't a joke. Growing up in New York, I felt like everything's fine, but downtown LA, especially Skid Row, not the best. So I wasn't scared of anything haunted, but maybe scared of some of the locals. I filmed here in Vegas. I went to There's a hotel called the Oasis Hotel, and there's two rooms that had very famous deaths. One was a guy named Stu Unger. He was the youngest World Series of Poker champion, and
Hmm.
made a movie about him. One of the guys from Sopranos played him, but he has an interesting story. But he OD'd there, and then the other one across the way was a room 100, and the actor David Strickland hung himself there, and he was engaged to Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and he was on a TV show with Brooke Shields. This is called Suddenly Susan, I think.
Hmm.
And they let us in. They say people ask all the time, "Who cares? You can go in the room." And I went into the room, and there's a wooden beam where he hung himself, and it's still there. And I will say that being in the room felt sort of strange, and you couldn't help but kind of picture him there. And they've created all these stories. Oh, in the middle of the night, you hear this and that. I don't know if any of that's true, but it was slightly eerie. But I was editing the video at like 3 in the morning in my house, and as I was editing it, I creeped myself out. Do I think that it was because something was haunted? No, I think I got into my own head, uh, so to speak. But there's a few places you've gone to that I watch, and I feel it's sort of eerie just watching it. Not that I think ghosts are going to get there, but
Yeah.
there's some of these places you're in a pitch black place.
Well, the Session 9 hotel, that was or hotel, excuse me, insane asylum, the old Danvers, mental hospital. That was definitely creepy, but more scary because it was very dangerous because there was, like, complete like, you'd look in a patient's room and it's collapsed 5 stories down, and you're like, "Okay, this probably isn't too smart to be in here." Nobody knows we're in here. The place is the size of a mall. Every window is boarded up. You can't see your hand in front of your face if you don't have your flashlight on. If anything happens to you in here, you're screwed, you
Yes,
know?
yeah, stuck. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think that sort of answers the questions. Um, Sean, what might be the most expensive piece in your collection? Obviously, you're asking his opinion on it. I mean, because one
Well,
person could think it's worth more, but what do you think
that
it is, Sean?
that's the thing with props. Anything is worth what somebody's willing to pay.
Mhm.
And like with these auctions, all it takes is 2 people with deep pockets.
Who want the
To
same thing? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that evil face poltergeist clown went up to $675,000, I think, recently. I know who got it. Um, I don't know if he's made it public. He, he's he's not. I mean, something he owns is very famous that people would know, but his name is not famous. Like
No.
he's not personally well known, but he's the owner of something famous. Anyway, I've talked to the guy, um and I own one of the happy face ones. But then again, again, it's probably 2 people fighting over the same thing, I mean, so I mean, what's the most I've paid for something? That's a different question. But what's worth the most? It's really tough to say. I mean, the most I've paid is those Lost Boys jackets, but that was a set.
That's what
Um,
I was thinking, and that's how many figures are we talking about? You think on that one?
it was 6 figures.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I figured.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but
It was
it's a
right
store.
right at 6. It was like it pretty much was with the fees. Because I think I bid at like 92 or something. But
Yeah, and he has 4 of the jackets. If you, it's a great video. The video is great for many reasons. The battle over the COAs. People who are watching who are fans of your channel already know this, but
yeah,
it's an amazing video. It's best you watch it for yourself and see. But there was Sean kind of got screwed on some COAs, and he sort of tried to screw them back, and it's an ongoing thing. I think the jackets are worth more now because the video is the COA and probably has
yeah,
made it more legendary at the end of the day. But
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, as far as what I think, I mean, I've been offered a lot of money for certain items I have. I mean, I'd have to say like the big items would be, well, the Poltergeist clown, James Remar's vest from the Warriors who played Ajax,
mhm.
which also has his belt and belt buckle. Um,
Came right from him, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's a close friend and a client. But
Here's a good
hmm,
question too from Russ.
uh,
Is there a way to have insurance on a collection as yours? And I need
yeah.
to know this for myself.
Yeah, it's ridiculously expensive. It's almost not worth doing because the amount of money you'd pay to insure high priced items like that, it I've looked into it big time, and it's just not worth it really at the end of the day. I mean,
Mhm.
to insure a collection like mine would cost more than 10 grand a month. So,
Yeah, that's a lot. And there's
yeah,
so many items. It's not like
yeah,
I've got 5 big ticket pieces. No, your
no,
collection is vast.
no.
Um,
I mean, I have insurance, but there's specific collection type insurance for items like that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm just trying to go through these questions, and I could be wrong. I usually am, but does Sean have an episode about a horror film being filmed in Winnipeg? That sounds familiar. Not
No.
Winnipeg. He's
I
done
mean,
Canada.
I've done Toronto quite extensively. I'm doing Montreal later this year. I'm leaving for Calgary tomorrow, but
Oh,
not to film. Um, but no, I don't even know if I've ever been to Winnipeg.
yeah. Again, you could check out search Sean Clark or Malfunction, and you can see some of his videos that kind of probably answer a lot of your
I thought
questions.
I thought it was kind of interesting that the video you put out yesterday of you and Wednesday, you were wearing the Exorcist shirt the day I put out my Exorcist
Yes,
video.
I thought that too. It was purely coincidental.
Yeah,
Um, I Yeah, I've wanted to go see. Is there still a plaque at the bottom of the stairs that says this is
yeah,
where it's filmed? Yeah.
yeah. You know what? I don't know why I didn't film the plaque. I there's a lot of things, you do these things, you get home, you start editing, and you go, oh shit, did I not get a shot of that?
Hmm.
And it, like, for example, if you watch my episode when I'm following the priest to the back of the church, right? For
Hmm.
whatever reason, I didn't pan over to the door he enters.
Hmm.
And I'm like, really, Sean? You filmed it from the inside when he comes in, but I didn't, I don't know what, just
It
brain
makes me
fart.
it makes me
Somebody
feel better about
distracted me. Who knows?
it makes me feel better about my video, Sean, because I don't want you to be too perfect. Sean is sort of the staple of these videos, and so it's no, what you said. It's difficult when you're doing these things. There's people around. You're trying to get everything done. You probably have other places to be, and sometimes you go, man, I should have grabbed this or that. But I'm glad it's there, the plaque, because I think it's cool
Yeah.
that they have it. And I think you got good shots of the house. Sometimes the gate is closed, from what I've heard.
Yeah, that might be the first time I've been there that the gate was open. So I was able to get some good shots of the front door. The side when I was looking at from the side, I put it over the fence. So I'd had the tripod and I just picked it up and stuck it over the fence so you could, see the directly at the front door. But um
That was a great shot. When I first saw it, I said, I think Sean managed to get in. And then when I saw the second shot, I said, okay, this was over the fence. But the first time
no.
I looked at it, it really looked like you were in the property. And
Yeah, I didn't step on the actual property. I mean, the gate was open. I could have walked in there and done that, but I thought I saw as much as I needed to see, and there wasn't any reason for to try to get the homeowner's attention to look inside
right.
because they didn't film in there anyway. So I was trying to be respectful and just get the shots I needed and get the hell out of there. Um,
Es- Especially in this day and age where everyone's doing these kind of things, you don't want to intrude on somebody, and you got the shots without it. Like you said, it wasn't filmed in the home. If it was, maybe you would try to talk about them. It's funny. Deborah Bennett asks, "Can you tell me exactly who Sean is?" And as I just said, he's not the easiest person to describe, but Sean is he's a horror aficionado. He knows a lot about horror movies, and he's created a lot of bonus content for some of your favorite horror movies. The series Horror's Hollowed Grounds, where he goes step by step. He was doing this long before people were thinking that it was a monetizable thing. I think you were doing it for fun to begin with. So you can
I
watch
still
those things.
am.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so too. Um, when I film something, I think I have to have some interest in it myself. And there's a few times where I went, well, what the hell? But if it's thy known self be true, if you believe in it, maybe people will as well. And then Sean is also the head of, he owns Convention All Stars, where he books some incredibly famous people. And if you can watch an interview with Sean on this channel where we talk about how he got started with that, because it's an interesting story. And some of his clients got more and more famous. Norman Reedus, for example, and stayed with Sean and still are with him. Sean, is there on your website? Is there a place where people can look at all the shows that you're going to be at, or your clients?
No, no. My website's so outdated too. I mean, God, we need to. I've just been so busy. We haven't had a chance to update it as far as like new clients and stuff. But yeah, I have my reasons for not having a calendar. Two reasons, and I'm going to be very honest. Reason number one is I don't need to give my competitors a blueprint of where I put people, you know.
Right. Good.
And number two is I don't want clients going to the calendar and looking at it and saying, wow, you're booking, this guy has 8 shows and you can't get me one this year. Why can't, you know, and start getting jealous and competitive. And it's like, you know what? It's not my job to promote these shows. I book them into them. The shows promote the shows, you know?
Yeah. I'm glad to hear you explain that. And it does make sense. So Eric Estrada is here. I'm sure it's really him.
He was great in Fallout. Just saw him recently in Fallout.
Yeah, well, he's here and he's saying hello. It's our pal Punch. So
yeah.
Thank you.
Met him at Chiller a few times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are excited. You never know who's going to show up when we do this thing. And I'm glad people like your business decision, and it does make sense, you know, because you can also search the person that you want to meet. So if you want to meet Nick Castle, you can look around and you'll find the conventions that he's appearing
or just
at.
Follow those celebrities on social media. They usually promote their appearances, you know.
Yeah.
Like, how can I find out where Nick Castle's going to be? Well, follow Nick Castle on social media and he'll probably post about it. If he doesn't, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can always message me and ask me, you know, do you have any shows coming up for Nick Castle? And I'll go, he's going to be at these ones, you know, but I'm not going to do a whole, plus that's more work for me. I got to update a calendar constantly. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. Let's take a look at some other people's questions.
I was pissed off. I missed Shark Island, man. That was
yeah.
Well, you talking about it?
Getting back to the rainbow.
Yeah.
Well,
I literally walked in as he was like, "Thank you, good night." I mean, I'm not. It was like they were when you were getting me through the gate. They were like saying good night. It was like, "Fuck."
You didn't miss much, but
I've never seen him. I've never seen, and I was a huge fan. And here's a quick story. So, when I was a teenager, a couple of my friends were older than me. I was probably like 15, 16. They were like 21, right? And they got me into Shark Island. And they used to go see them all the time at Gazzari's because that was like the place they played all the time. Well, Gazzari's was one of the only clubs on the strip that was 21 and over. I couldn't get into Gazzari's. So I never really got to see them. And anyway, it just whatever. I mean, I had plenty of chances in the 90s, but I think I fell out. I was a fan. There was one specific album I was a fan of, which I don't even know if they played a single song from at the Rainbow. It was an album called School Bus. And I love that. I still play that album to this day. But I don't think none of their hits were really on that, you know, that all this Father Time and Paris is Calling was later, you know.
They played 30 minutes. There was 3 covers in that 30 minutes. So chances are, and of course they played Paris is Calling, but
why do bands dude, it drives me. Let me go on a rant. It drives me crazy. Get off my lawn. Here we go. You're going to get an exclusive. Get off my lawn. Why is it when you go see a legacy band, a famous band, a Motley Crue, a Rat, whatever, you know, and they do covers that aren't theirs. And you've got such a deep catalog to pull from, and you're going to do a cover song like fucking Motley Crue doing Anarchy in the UK.
Yes.
Nobody wants to hear that shit.
No.
Nobody wants to hear it. Okay. It's terrible. Don't play that song ever again. Okay. Play play fucking Stick to Your Guns. You want to stoke some people out? Play something like that. It drives me crazy when these bands will try to do a cover of an, you know, I don't know. Anyway, that's my rant. Get off my
No,
lawn.
it's a good rant. I want to thank Kevin for the super chat. Very nice of you, and thank you for being a channel member. Yeah, no, I completely agree. They weren't even that interesting of covers. It was like White Wedding or Devil. It was something that Wednesday plays in his band, but he did it in Murder Dolls, and and he also does a completely different version. But
But they do that like back in the beginning, like it's almost like when Orgy did Blue Monday. That was
yes,
on their first record, so it becomes part of your catalog. I
right.
hate it when these bands pull a random cover that they didn't do back in the day. They're just doing it because, you know what I mean? It's like whatever.
So we
And
were
when
talking.
Crew did Anarchy in the UK, I mean, they had what, 6 albums up to that point, you know, and
Yeah.
so and they were trying to. It's one of those desperate attempts for an older band to try to be hip by, you know. Anyway,
You definitely got the feeling that they weren't listening to the Sex Pistols, but they
no,
wanted a song that could try to make them hit. We talked
yeah,
about it on the show that we were going to go, and you said you were interested in seeing Shark Island. We were curious. I didn't think we'd get you out of the house, especially on a rainy day. Uh, but fortunately, the Michael Myers mask needed some repairs for you to pick up in Burbank. And so when you got there, as you said, Shark Island was just getting off the stage. We the people at the Rainbow were nice enough to give us the VIP treatment, but we were in the dressing room tent, and I said, Sean, pick out Richard Black out of anyone in this room, and you could not do it. You pointed out a lot of maybe Faster Pussycats or Powerman 5000s, and I couldn't do it either. If I even when he was on stage, I had to look.
to
So
be fair, when you
uh,
pointed him out to me, he was kind of hidden. He was kind of behind some. I didn't really get a good look at him. Had I seen his face, I think I could have picked him out.
yeah.
But no, I didn't see him. I was looking around, you know.
It helps in context. Now, if you ran into him at the mall, probably not going to go. There's Richard Black. I showed the picture to Steven 2 days later, where we were in some city, Texas. And I go, Steven, do you know who this person is? And he looked at it and he looked at it and he said, well, should I? And I said, you toured with them. And because the band Contraband opened for RATT,
Oh yeah.
and which was Bobby Blotzer, Cher Peterson from Vixen, Michael Schenker, Tracy Guns, and Bobby Blotzer on drums, but Richard
Yeah.
was the singer. So when I told him, he was like, "Oh my God, yeah!" You know, he kept looking at it, but
Mhm.
but he would not have recognized it either. We did, so we didn't. You didn't get to see Shark Island. We saw Power Man 5000,
They were
which was
great.
fun. Yeah, it was really fun. I don't think that's a band you don't have to be a fan of to still enjoy the live show. You know.
No, they put on a good show. Spider's a good front man. They sounded great. Faster Pussycat, I'd seen them a few times before, and I actually thought, even though I've seen them with some of the original members, and I think Tammy sounded the best I'd ever heard him sound. Like he sounded good.
Yeah,
Um,
I
and
agree.
he wasn't looking like he was gasping for air sitting on the edge of the stage, because he was such a chain smoker, man. I remember he would like literally put his legs over the edge of the stage and sit there and smoke and sing.
Mhm.
I mean, it was pretty sad, but now he's looking great, sounds great. I heard he stopped smoking and drinking. That's, you know, good for him. Get healthy, you know.
He would have been dead. You know, that's what they told him, and so he had to stop his smoking and drinking, and he's working on his health. I'll be seeing him next week in Virginia, the Fast Pussycat opening for Steven, which should be fun. Okay, let's. But anyway, but we had a good time, and we had a good time just hanging out. It's something that to find time between my schedule, your schedule, and Wednesday's schedule. The fact that three of us would be
Mm.
around at the same time is pretty rare. I mean, we're all kind of, you and I are more weekend warriors. You
Yeah.
know, I do the weekend shows, you do the conventions on the weekend, and Wednesday goes to, you know, overseas for a month at a time. So it was fun everything you see on the show is like what dinner with us is like too, talking about, you know, Sparky Marcus and
Well, I have to say my favorite part of the whole day was hanging out at dinner afterwards. We talked until they kicked us out, basically, you know?
we closed it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was but I agree, it's nice. And when you find like-minded people in this industry, it is a nice thing to be able to just talk. And once we start, the topics are uh, endless. Question from Chris: Sean, how rare OG Halloween pops have you got to see in person? I guess the question is, have you got to see any of the old '78 props? I'm thinking.
Hmm. Actually, 78 props. The only one I can think of I've actually seen in person is Bob's glasses.
He wouldn't show me. You know,
He wouldn't show them to you?
yeah, I told you this at your last show, the Halloween 45. He said he's been asked so much that he's scared they're going to be damaged,
Yeah.
and I said you should put them in a nice little hole, you know, a case.
Yeah.
And you pointed out that pretty soon or one day you will own them,
Well,
and
he
then I.
told me when he's ready, I'm the guy he's gonna sell them to. I mean, I have Nick Castle's script from the original Halloween, but there aren't too many props out there. Um,
Does Nick have his mask? I thought he did. No.
he
Okay.
had it. He lent it to Deborah Hill, who then used it in Halloween 2, and it went to Dick Warlock, and then Dick Warlock sold it to a guy, and now it's rotting. So,
Yeah.
man,
It's
last picture I saw of it looked pretty sad. Whole jaw was about to fall off, and the neck was practically gone. It didn't look good. So
1978, people weren't thinking about preserving props. You know, this collectible world wasn't even thought of. Now, if you made a movie, everybody knows that everything on that set has some value.
yeah,
Uh,
they're tight with that stuff now.
yeah, I mean, they know what's going to happen. Let's see. A lot of people agreeing on the cover songs. Here's a question
Oh,
that I know the answer. Have you ever visited the hospital on Halloween too? He has. He's also been threatened to be arrested taking a tour. He brought an entire tour bus.
yeah. I see somebody else said something about the elevator from Halloween 2. If I don't know where the elevator from Halloween 2 is, the famous scene. I've never found it. If you know where it is, let us know. But the exterior of the hospital, yeah, that's in my episode. I've been there. The interior, the hospital they shot the bulk of the interiors at, which was the same hospital used in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I mentioned, if you watch my Fast Times episode, I point out it's the same hospital, and I
Mhm.
point out how you can tell that was torn down years ago. So there really isn't anything. Well,
Yeah,
hey, thanks, Deborah. That was
yeah.
quick. You had it up. You didn't get me to have my glory there, Jason. You took it
Oh,
down
sorry.
pretty quick.
No, no. Well, Deborah is
Yeah.
complimenting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought we should share
Thank you.
more of those. I saw some other stuff. They're all over the place, but there's some good. Well, Sean Brown, I got to get to because he's
Good first
incredibly.
name.
Yeah, yeah, true. Very generous. Hello, Sean. Sean. I'll tell you when they super chat, I just read the question. I don't care what it says. No, I no proofreading. No proofreading. Hello, Sean. I'm a huge fan of Horror's Hollow Grounds and have been collecting every Blu-ray that features your series. As a movie collector, I thank you for the location history of so many films. My
I,
question,
I I
Sean.
thank you, Sean, for purchasing them, even though I don't make any money off them. But I appreciate it. I mean, now you can just watch them all on YouTube. I don't do them for Blu-ray and DVD anymore, unless some company does come to me and really wants me to do one. And it's one I'm excited about. I don't actually. I take that back. There is my Trick or Treat episode is supposed to be on the new Trick or Treat Blu-ray, but I didn't make it for that release. I made it for YouTube. It's on YouTube right now. But since I kind of am working on that Blu-ray release, that's the one with Gene Simmons and Ozzy in it. I offered it up to them like, hey, do you want to put this on there? I don't want anything for it. Just put it on there. So, but for the most part, my stuff is exclusive to YouTube these days.
Yeah, I was going to ask, have you ever thought about doing a Blu-ray of all your stuff yourself? I know that it's on YouTube, but some people like to have physical
Yeah.
media, and you can sign the thing and
I get
make a cool.
asked it a lot, but it's the rights issue. I don't know, I mean, it would have to be something I completely did bootleg and
A
only
small
offered it.
ad, a small
Yeah.
ad in the back of Fangoria.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I mean, I get it. There's people that are completists, probably like Sean Brown, who wants them all, wants to own them in one collection. But I think that's few and far between, especially when the stuff's for free on YouTube and you can watch it any day. But I am obviously a lover of physical media. I have tons of it surrounding me in this room. So,
Well, Jay asked the question that we both get asked all the time. You have impressive memorabilia collections. What are each of your prized pieces? And I always say the same thing. I have a painting that Didi Ramon painted the month he died. I mean, a gigantic canvas painting, and I'm such a Ramones fan that I'm honored to have it. Everything else I have, it would be so difficult for me to pick one thing. Sean's stuff is organized, and me, I'd have to go through boxes and go, oh, I forgot I have this. I was fortunate to collect as much as I did, but off the top of my head, I don't know. Sean, do you have an answer for that? You must get asked all the time.
yeah, I mean, I usually say my poltergeist clown, but some of my favorite pieces are I have one of Ace Frehley's vests from Love Gun Tour, 77, 78. It's just that part of the costume, the wrap part, the midsection neck. And that's a favorite piece. My Funhouse stuff, because I'm a big fan of Toby Hooper's Funhouse, having pretty much all of the creatures stuff is something I'm proud of. Those are a couple, and obviously the Warrior's vest. He was my favorite warrior, Ajax. So
Yeah.
I'd go with
Chris,
some of those.
Chris says, Sean, there were 4 masks for 7/8 Halloween. Is that right? Wonder what happened to the other 3.
All I've never heard of 4. The most I know for sure there was 3, because there is a photograph of all 3 of them being worn at the wrap party by Tommy Lee Wallace, Nick Castle, and John Carpenter when they were playing as the Coupe de Villes at the wrap party.
I saw that picture yesterday, and it kind of
Yeah.
blew me away. And it was another thing. There's a lot of things I go, I got to ask Sean. But what a great picture. I had never seen it before, randomly suggested on Facebook of Tom Lee Wallace, who did play Michael Myers in the scenes in the movie, and Nick Castle, and then, of course, John Carpenter, who directed and created it. But what a cool photo. So that's a great point. There were definitely 3 masks because all 3 of them were wearing them. Okay, let's see.
And as far as this question of where the other 2 are, who knows? What was that? What was the question?
Yeah, this one is he loved that you scattered out Devereaux's lair on Kiss Meets the Phantom. I enjoyed that video too, not just because of the Kiss things, but because there was so much history in that park that I've never been to. I better get over there.
Man, and I don't know if we talked about this or not, but such a bummer that they just tore down the theater.
Oh man.
So that was the theater where Kiss fights the samurai. That sounds so ridiculous saying that. But it's also the Spinal Tap and Puppet Show theater with the guy sitting in the front row giving the thumbs down while they're doing their jazz odyssey.
What a shame. Bill and Ted also, right?
They did shoot some of Bogus Journey in that theater. The Primus part, the Battle of the Bands, was shot in that theater, and it's now gone. Yeah. Fortunately, while I was there, I also shot footage for a potential future Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap episode that I hope to finish someday.
It's
So,
funny you bring that up. I asked Paul Shortino, the real Paul Shortino, not the
where the
doctor,
hotel was?
where the hotel is, and he told me. I mean, he remembered.
Oh, really?
I'll
Okay,
have
you're
to
gonna have
go
to
through
share
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
he
it still
remembered.
there?
Yeah, it might have been remodeled a bit, but it's there,
Figures.
and he remembered the city and the whole thing, and and this I know some others. We'll talk about it. I know some other
Yeah. Fucking
spinal
wanker.
taps.
Look, what a wanker. What a wanker.
Yeah, for sure. Only as God made me.
I
Um,
love when they when they're saying hi to him and they pan over to Paul and he just kind of does this look around like he doesn't actually look at them. He kind of looks like yeah, like a
it's
I don't
great.
know if it was on purpose or if it was just him not being an actor, but it worked so perfectly for that scene.
His license plate is Duke Fame here in Vegas.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's
That's
very proud.
rad.
He's very proud. He's very proud to be Duke. At one point, I thought about trying to put him at a collector's show. I didn't know if it would work.
You know, he should be reaching out to the Spinal Tap people because they're doing that sequel right now. I think there could be something in there where Duke Fame could also, could have an
Resurface.
appearance. Why not,
Yeah. No,
Get on that, Paul.
yeah, I think so. I'll have to leave him another message. Okay, I'm just going through to make
The
sure. But
monkey's
I
opening
want to
on.
see. I want to see the wall in Vacation where they have to they, at the end where they get arrested and they put their hands up. It's still there, but
It is still there, but it's one of those things that I could see it easily being torn down at any
any day.
time because it's in a section of the park where they could expand and it's not really doing anything. It's not serving a purpose right now. So you should definitely go soon and and see that stuff before it's gone. Um, maybe I go with you and I can point out all the Kiss stuff, but
Yeah, that'd be great.
and Zap.
I would.
Don't forget Zapped.
Yes, the great Zapped. Joe Esposito did a song for Zapped. I remember we were talking to Scott Baio about it at one of these shows. But yeah, I'd love to go if we could find a time because I've never been and definitely one of those spots. I've seen all the other vacation stuff. It's the Santa Anita racetrack is where they enter, and then it
Yeah.
cuts to Six Flags. Most of those rides aren't there, but yeah, as you
Well,
said,
the
that
roller
wall,
coaster they ride is still there.
that
It's
one
the
is still there.
Revolution. Yeah, still there.
Revolution. Okay. Yeah, it's but as you pointed out, some of these things. Here's a question that I don't know if Sean would answer, but I
Hmm.
could answer it for him probably. Sean, what was the most difficult actor you've had to deal with?
Oh boy.
I mean, I have one person in mind, but
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean,
well, let me ask you: was there anyone ever who did a show and was really high maintenance, like their expectations of what this show should be like were just too crazy? I mean, I know Jamie Lee Curtis is a huge star, and
she wasn't bad though at all. She was
yeah,
actually, I mean, she's intense where I was, I was nervous because she's such a big personality, but once you behind the scenes, she's actually completely the opposite.
mhm.
But no, she wasn't high maintenance. She was very, very cool. I'm trying to think. That's a damn good question. I mean, it's funny is Norman Reedus. Even though I've worked with him for like 15 years, um, when when people get to a certain level of fame, it's not always just that they are difficult. It's just it gets more difficult dealing with what's going on around you, and his fans are kind of crazy. And um, I'd have to say it's dealing with him, and when I say with him, I mean just in general, the whole thing. It's probably the most stressful for me. I'm actually going to Japan with him next weekend, and I'm dreading it. Um, I'm dreading it because I hate being out of my element, and being in Japan is like being on another planet, you know. Um, I don't feel comfortable there. Even though the people are great, the people are great. I just don't feel comfortable I don't know how to get anywhere and I can't read any of the signs and you know, um, and then just having to deal with that whole situation. Um, and I've been dealing, and there's another element added to this trip where AMC has been involved because there's a promotional thing attached to this trip and they've been up my ass about everything and it's just been a little stressful. Um, but as far as answer your question about who's been the most high maintenance, or what was the original question? Was it so much
Yeah,
high
that's
maintenance?
a good point. I'm not sure if it was high maintenance or
It's just
difficult.
difficult.
Because the person that I'm thinking of, it was difficult, most difficult actor. The person I'm thinking of was on
Oh,
screen for maybe 12 seconds. That's who I'm thinking.
is it Tony Moran?
He was pretty
No,
difficult, no?
no, he's just an asshole.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a difference between he wasn't difficult. Get him drunk and he's probably happy. Um, but no, he's just a dick. But as far as yeah, I wouldn't say yeah, he was oh, it's funny is like the people it's the smaller the celebrity, the more of a
Yes,
headache they are. The
I agree.
because their egos, they're seeing all these other people, getting more attention and doing so much better and they demand more coddling, I guess. And it's you know, I don't know. Sometimes you don't get along with somebody like perfect example is I used to work with Holly Marie Combs from Charmed,
Mhm.
and we were like this. I mean, I just said bye-bye. I'm just like I'm good. Take care. Best of luck. And I see her occasionally. We're fine now, but
Yeah,
I did not want to work with her. You know.
yeah. Well, I think Sean answered your question a couple of times over. Sean, are you good for another 10 minutes or so?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll
I'm just
take
getting
some.
ready to leave for tomorrow. I got some phone calls to return, but that's about it. I'm good. Oh, and a basketball game coming on. What time is that at? I'm a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
NBA guy, and
yeah.
I'm a Thunder fan. They come on in 15 minutes, but I don't need to see the whole game. It's cool.
Somebody wants to play this FMK game. I always get in
Okay.
trouble for it. And
If it's somebody I
Sean,
work with, I can't
and
do it.
Sean can't play because one is at least a client.
Let's see.
I of course will do it for everyone for the team, but I don't really know what Shawnee Smith looks like. She's from Saw, right?
Yeah, she's a client. Danielle's a client.
Yeah. So Sean can't answer this childish nonsense. I, on the other hand, will answer. But I have to look up Shawnee Smith because I don't
She
really.
looks great. She looks great.
She's
She
very
would be
pretty.
the. I'd have to say Shawnee would be the Mary material. She's
Yeah, I've learned that that's what you can say.
yeah, no, she is. And I'd go probably. Well, then if I say the yeah,
No,
never
you
mind.
better not say.
I,
Bill,
I'm down for playing this if it's people I don't work with.
yes, if you guys want to pick people that Sean doesn't work with, it's fair. This is a
Yeah.
tough one because I'm just saying, in my opinion, neither one of these are the life of the party.
Hmm.
But no comment from Sean. I don't know. I would probably say maybe F on Danielle Harris because it's funny. Maybe she wears the clown suit or whatever, and then maybe marry Christina Ricci, but she doesn't seem like she's any fun. I don't know. I'm a fame whore, and I think they're more famous than Shawnee Smith, maybe. But Shawnee Smith seems like the marriable one, and Sean's kind of already alluded to that. So
Well, I
I
used
think
to have a big crush on Christina Ricci.
I
I
did
mean,
too.
and I've met her recently, and I mean, she looks good.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, is she somebody I would probably hang out with? Probably not. Plus,
right.
she's a smoker, and I can't. I could never date a smoker.
Have you seen the movie Buffalo '66?
Yes,
Did you like it?
that's
It's
okay.
not for everybody. Yeah. I love it. I knew Vincent Gallo for a little while. He was the
Yeah.
strangest person that I've ever known. But I like when he screams at her about her dirty car and that it's a shifter car, and just the whole relationship between them. That movie is great. This person is paying $10 to ask the question, and Sean can answer these. I know he doesn't represent these people. Hold on, that's not it. Shannon Doherty, Jenny Garth, Tori Spelling.
Okay, here you go.
He has an opinion, I could tell.
Well, no, this just reminded me of something. You asked the question, one of the most difficult clients, Shannon Doherty. I worked with her very briefly. Basically, never actually worked with her because she flaked on me twice and was not nice about it. So yeah, she was difficult.
Well,
So
we should
here's
point out that, hold on, before she has cancer, brain cancer. I think maybe stage 4. She's doing all these conventions now. What seems like a farewell tour. I hate to put it that way, but it certainly
yeah.
seems like maybe she could use some money for the family or medical. And I think she likes to say goodbye to the fans. You see these people sometimes get booked at those shows, and this is probably their
No,
last appearance. I met Adam West at the Hollywood show. He was in pain. They were calling it the Batman farewell tour. He was gone a week later.
well, something like cancer can definitely humble a person. Um, I'm
Yes,
sure. I'm sure right now she, I don't wish it on anybody. And I sympathize. My issues with her were like 12 years ago. So,
right. Yeah,
I'm sure she was a very different person there then than she is now, because of her current situation.
yeah. I
Um,
hear she's great at these shows. I hear she has a long line,
yeah.
obviously. But I get it. And listen, her castmates of other shows too had issues with her back in the
Well,
day.
here's a funny one. I don't know if I still have it. Hold on. I may be pulling out a gem. Okay.
Oh,
So,
nice.
well, I need to answer the question. To be honest with you, I'm not really a fan of any of them. So,
Mhm.
uh, and I'd only really have an opinion of that 90s era version of any of them. But this is an autograph I got back in, it's been a while. It's been a while, probably 15 years ago.
I'm hoping
And
you're going to show me a Shannon Doherty night shift autograph. That's what I'm hoping for.
no, it's hold
I
on.
know it's going to be different.
Let me see if I still have it. And oh, I do still have it.
It's amazing how fast he
And
finds this.
something tells me that this is something he probably regrets doing. But this is an autograph I got from Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, a Mallrats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's an
Sean,
example.
let's play pick out the bitch. So
Yeah.
he didn't care for her either.
Yeah. So another person who definitely had a difficult experience. I kind of grew up on 90210, and this is a tough one for me. We'll say have relations, we'll say marry, and then we'll say get rid of, because that 4-hour Wednesday show, they would not let my advertising go. They said it was too offensive.
Wow.
I like all of them. When I was a kid, I liked Shannon Doherty the best.
I was never really attracted to any of them. I would say I would say, as far as F goes, I'd probably go with believe it or not, Tori, just
Mhm.
because there's something so weird about her that's fascinating to me.
She seems like she'd be a little wild too, I think.
She does, and she seemed like she had the best body in
Mhm.
regards to the three.
But she's had
Uh,
some work, obviously. Not that there's
well,
anything.
it takes work to get it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm not really attracted to any of them, so I don't know, and I'd probably just murder the other two and not marry
I
any
don't
of
know if
them.
we can say that word.
You can't say the M word,
I don't think
really?
so. Maybe not in this context.
Wow,
Well,
you definitely can't talk about the murder dolls then at all with
no, you
Wednesday.
could say it in that context. I think they listen to a word and then it
Oh,
triggers it, and then they do a manual review. And there's someone in office goes, "Yep, those two we're talking about," and then and then they decide we might be okay. But Jenny Garth looks great. She's held up well. I'm effing Shannon Doherty. I'm going to get rid of Jenny Garth, and I think I'm going to F Tori Spelling. Tori Spelling's the most famous. She seems to be the wildest. It should be fun to motorboat. That's who I'm going with.
So where would you bury? No, never mind.
That's a good point. I think I bet you Jenny Garth is the one that you would marry as far as someone who has some common sense. Tori Spelling's probably crazy, and she's got like 16 kids, I think.
Yeah, no, Jenny Garth is probably definitely the one that would be more tolerable.
Yeah. See, aren't you glad you logged in? Oh, wait, now people are paying for this. Let me make sure these are not his clients. No, I don't think so.
What's that?
I don't think so. One of them does conventions, though. This is from Joe in Seattle. Thank you for the super chat. This is Belinda Carlisle, Susanna Hoffs, and Cherie Curry. This one's actually pretty easy, I think. It starts intimidating, but
yeah, I do know Cherie. I do know her. And I do represent her ex-husband, Robert Hayes.
Yes.
So definitely marrying Susanna Hoffs.
Me 100%. Too. No doubt about it. She looks incredible. Doesn't age.
Having relations with Cherie. I think she's cool enough that she'd respect me saying that. And sorry, Belinda, I'm a fan, but bye-bye.
Yeah. I think that Cherie's cool and would get it too. She's been on the show. I'm going with Belinda though, because I had a Go-Go's fetish when I was.
You're going with Belinda as Mary?
No. I'm marrying Susanna Hoffs.
No, I was going to say Susanna Hoffs. Come on, have you seen her lately? She still looks amazing.
She looks incredible. Nothing's changed. Belinda would be a big pain in the ass. It's obvious. But yeah. So and just for the Go-Go's alone, and yeah.
I do represent Jane Whelan though. So.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I think I have a Clue poster I need her to sign around here somewhere. So.
Well, she hasn't done a con, and it's been about 2 years. I think the last one we did was Pensacon in Florida, but she's awesome. She's super cool.
I see that Gina Shock does a lot of these shows.
She started doing them recently, and she was flirting with me at Chiller. She was like, I was kind of thinking to myself, is she flirting with me? Right? I was thinking to myself
that she might not. I thought maybe that her case was that she was not. I don't know.
I would have been there with you. But I kind of felt she was, and then I walked away because I had her sign a couple of my Go-Go's records that I had Jane sign. And then when I walked away, I looked at what she wrote, and she said something about "you're a cutie" or something. It was something. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to stay away from that side of the room for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people agreeing about Susanna Hoffs. I know someone who had relations with Susanna Hoffs. It's the same person who had relations with Nev Campbell. I better watch what I say, but I've told you the name before, but I'll tell you off the air again. If you forget.
Wow, I didn't.
Yeah, but that's a good resume. I mean,
not all heroes wear capes.
This is one I don't even know. Nikki Glazer, I think she's a comedian. Whitney Cummings, she's a comedian, and Christina P. I don't even know who that is.
The only one I know is Whitney Cummings, and she's attractive, and she's funny as fuck. She seems obnoxious though. Like I think she would drive me crazy. So she would just be a one and done.
Yeah, I tend to agree. A lot of people enjoy Sean's content. Sean, what I like about you is that you don't. You have real conversation. You're honest about your opinions on things, and I think that's why people relate to you. You certainly don't kiss ass just because you work with a lot of different people. Obviously,
so now we're going into religion and politics next. Here we go.
Yeah, that's that. You got it. Yeah, those are the two dirty words, I think.
Oh yeah, it's so funny is if I even hint at something in either of those directions in any of my like thing with two heads podcasts or something, you'll get these nuts start message. I've lost a ton of respect for you because of blah blah blah. It's like, really, dude? Don't even watch my shit. I don't even, it's like, if you're that crazy that my little comment fucking triggered you so hard, you need to just go away. So.
In my interview with Cherie Curry, she has a political message behind her on the wall. She takes it down. She takes it down halfway through the interview. I didn't see it when we. And I also wouldn't tell her not to have something hanging on her wall. It's her business. I have edited.
Sorry, I just read somebody's comment. Sorry.
Oh, I won't cut somebody's opinion, but I've had people on the show, especially during pandemic times, where I said, I don't think you should take that stand publicly because you'll limit your audience and you could also look foolish. But I wouldn't take away their right. I'm not censoring someone, but to make some claims, some people were a little crazy around that time. Were you laughing at the three young ladies or what it was?
I was laughing at the FMK, Alice, Flo, and Vera.
Oh, I didn't see it.
That's a good one.
Well,
I don't know.
Are we talking about back in the day? I mean, we have to, right?
Yeah, isn't one of them dead?
Vera has passed.
Yeah.
Holly Holiday lives in New York still, but she's about 10,000 years old.
I mean, you'd have to be talking back in the day. So if it's back in the day, I think F has to be Flo. She just seems like she'd be a Hellcat.
That's what she was known for. Yeah. We'd have to kiss her grits.
And I guess you'd have to marry Alice because she seems to have her shit together. And Vera's just, she's a little baddie. But there's something cute. There was something cute about her.
No, I agree. She was.
I wouldn't feel good about killing her.
No. Big bad.
I would shed a tear for Vera.
Dr. Paul Shortino says, I wonder who would be silly enough to give medical advice. And if you read between the lines, you might know. He may have been in a movie directed by Rob Reiner, but he's got a lot of advice. All right, I appreciate it.
When Dr. Paul Shortino posts on it, is it actually him?
No.
Oh, okay. All these years, all this time, I thought it was actually him.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I have to give a disclaimer. Matt thinks it was someone who toured with them. It was Rough Cut, and he's a friend of Paul's. But Matt and Amir, they're both trying to figure out who it is. They want to come on here and ask Dr. Paul questions. Lisa's great. Lisa lives in LA. We saw her at the Rainbow. She's asking about Melrose Place. That's a tough one for me. You'd have to tell me that. Yeah, you have to tell me the actors' names. I know Courtney Thorne Smith is one, and I know that Heather Locklear is one. But and maybe the other one is Daphne Zuniga. I think that's who they are.
Yeah, I don't know. I never watched the show, so I don't know the characters.
I would probably marry that Daphne, who was in Spaceballs. I would probably F Heather Locklear because she's Heather Locklear, and I'd probably get rid of Courtney Thorne Smith because she's the least famous. But wasn't she in Fast Times?
No, she was in Summer School, and she was pretty hot in Summer School.
No, she was hot. Yeah. Okay.
But I wouldn't want to go anywhere that Tommy Lee's been, so I'd stay away.
I thought that too. Yeah, I thought that.
I feel like I'd fall in.
I was thinking a similar. Aren't you glad that you joined us? Andre is asking about these bracelets I wear, and these were from people. One of them is from Julie, but people on the road bring them to me. Like I'm Taylor Swift now, and it's very nice, and so
Greenies.
Yeah, I've been seeing that lately. Oh, it was Josie Bassett, Daphne, and Laura was the redhead. Yeah.
I have no idea who any of I know who Daphne is. That's it.
I'll tell a Melrose Place story real quick that I've never told before. When we were younger, we went to this Fox Upfronts event in New York, and they're promoting the season. You get to meet famous people. And
I'm listening.
Okay, yeah. And in the back of there was a limousine that pulled up, and we saw Heather Locklear messing around with I think it was Grant Show or Snow. He was the main actor on the show. She was married to Tommy Lee at the time, and we busted them. And her brother, well, excuse me, Andrew Shue, who was on the show, he begged us not to tell anybody what we had seen. He was Elizabeth Shue's brother, and but we caught Heather Locklear in an extramarital affair with her co-host, and I've never told that story to this day. And let's see here. These bracelets say waste some time. What else would they say? And Sean will be back in just a second. If you got any last questions for Sean or for me, I'm going to let, we did an hour and a half. I said I would do an hour, but I was so happy that Sean came by. And this weekend, I'll be at the Sick New World. Hopefully I won't be sick. It's a Sick New World this weekend, Sean.
Yeah, I know. I was invited. I think Spence is an Ice Nine Kills playing. I think he invited me to come to that.
So,
and I think even Wednesday invited me.
Yeah, you're in Canada, though, right?
Yeah, I'll be at Calgary Comic-Con with the Screamcast. Yeah, so I can't go, but I am coming at the end of May to Vegas.
Punk rock bowling.
I'm not going to punk rock bowling, but I'm going to see one of the concerts that's happening that weekend because of punk rock bowling, but I'm not going to the actual festival. So we will definitely be getting together and hanging out that weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. All Wednesday's interested in Vegas is seeing the spider from Runaway. The metal. It's
Where's that?
It's in Gene Simmons' museum.
Oh, did he put that there? It's funny. I'm staying at the Rio when I come out there. So,
well, you're a few feet away. Yeah.
Since I'm such a Kiss nerd, I always stay at the Rio because, the mini golf and the museum.
Yeah. But he figured out, well, Gene's entire collection is there now. I mean, he's definitely downsizing the house. And so it's there. And so that's what he wanted to see. Here's a strange FMK. These are all probably horror actresses or Friday the 13th actresses.
Okay.
Sean might already represent all of them. I only know who one of them is, but it'll be interesting. Ugh. Adrienne King, I know. That's the first Friday the 13th movie. She's the first.
Two of them are former clients.
Well, can you at least tell me who they are? Who is Amy Steele?
She's Jenny from part 2. Adrienne King is the final girl from part 1. Alice. Right. Dana Kimmel's the final girl from part 3. Gotcha. So if we're talking back in the day,
we would have to.
I'm going probably F Dana, marry Amy, and definitely kill Adrienne.
You would take her out in a canoe and jump out of the water, huh?
Well, or ice pick to the head.
Is it because she's not your favorite, or is she a difficult person, or do you not want to say?
That's actually drumming up some ideas for that last question. Yeah, it's funny. I will say this, though, in her defense. She was great up until this one particular weekend where it turned into an absolute nightmare. So, but, funny thing is I see her at conventions since it happened. She's not spoken a word to me. Won't even look in my direction, which is fine. Yeah.
You seem like an easy guy to get along with, and a very.
If I told the story of what happened that weekend, people would. Nobody would side with her. So
amazing. All right, we got to get out of here soon. This is a silly one. Vampire Elvira.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, well, all right. Well, we'll answer it. But someone's asking if Sean got his COA from the Lost Boys.
No, that is never going to happen in this lifetime. God, this is a hard one, though. I mean,
well, obviously we mean then because 2 of these people have passed.
If we're going then, I'm going. I know Cassandra; she's a friend.
Right.
So I'm marrying.
She's also not interested in us, but
yeah, I'm marrying Elvira.
Yeah,
because Elvira, the character, is straight.
Good point.
F Vampira. have to let Lily go. So
Interesting. I
yeah.
think I would agree with on Elvira. I would probably keep Lily and get rid of Vampira. Vampira did the court show back in the day, and
Mhm.
she charged more money than anyone at that point had ever charged. Did you get
Wow.
her?
I never got her autograph.
I didn't, and I should have. But this was the days when people were charging maybe 10 and 15. You know,
Yeah.
like 10 on a black and white and 50 on a color, like that meant anything.
Right.
And she might have been charging like $100. It was something like at that time, it was unheard of. And had
I like
she,
how these people are doing all these MFK to like TV characters now.
yeah, it's become fictional all of a sudden.
Like the Miss C, June Cleaver, Daisy Duke. Miss C.
I didn't even, I got to find that one. Hold on. I don't think I
Oh.
could do Mrs. C. Here it is. Oh boy. Well, you married Daisy Duke, I think.
Yeah, and
Although
then you
Mrs.
gotta be
C
a little
was a
hard on
great,
the beaver. Uh,
yeah, she was a great cook, though, I think.
I couldn't. Yeah, Miss C. That's like doing your mom. That's not cool. So yeah,
No, or June
can't.
Cleaver. What would you
Yeah,
do?
I'd have to go with June Cleaver for
I think so too. I think you F
and I
June
feel
Cleaver.
terrible killing Miss C. But
Yeah, she's still living.
is she still alive?
Hmm.
Oh my god!
She did a show not that long ago. She's in her
Wow,
90s, but she
wow.
is one of those people that is still living. But Daisy Duke needs to be at the Mad Monster party. I see they have the Dukes of Hazard there. She's the only one missing now.
Yeah, I don't know why the Dukes of Hazzard are there.
It's a strange, it's a strange mix.
Yeah.
They're not known for their monsters or horror,
Hmm.
um, but it is interesting. The collector show has added some more people. I got to tell Eckleby that we're the biggest commercial for this damn show he does. But they added Bernadette Stanis from Good Times, so they have
Oh,
her and JJ. It's the sister.
that's
And then
dynamite.
they added Marla Gibbs, who's done a lot of these, but Marla Gibbs is 92, 93. Some point she's not. I said it's like TV Black History convention. It's like all these old school shows, and then Hal Williams, who I like
Who's
because
that?
he's Smitty on Sanford and Son, the cop, but he was
I'm
the
looking at the list right now.
yeah he was Marla Gibbs' husband on 227. But not many people of these kind of shows left. But I'm impressed what they have so far.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list right now. See if there's anybody else of interest that they've added that I beyond Sparky Marcus.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, they had you at Sparky, but
oh shit. Oh, Benny. How do you pronounce that last name? You Euquides. He's
I'm not.
they call him Benny the Jet. He was a
Oh yeah,
martial artist.
Benny the Jet Urquidez. Yeah.
He was what I love him from is he was the hitman in Gross Point Blank, which is one of my favorite movies.
Totally forgot. Gross Point Blank. Yeah. He's in a
Yeah,
lot of
remember the
Jackie.
scene where he walks up and he picks up the name badge at the reunion and he goes, "It is I," and he says the person's name, and they're
Mhm,
like, "Boy, have you changed?"
mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's right.
I forgot. He's also he's in a lot of Jackie Chan movies. I think he's in Meals on Wheels, but he's in yeah, I actually had met him before like a martial arts convention, but I think he's a cool addition and not someone you see every day.
Yeah, that's a good one. Um,
Sean, is Corey
hmm.
Feldman difficult? Question for you.
Well, I don't rep him, but just based on the bullshit I hear that every promoter has to deal with him, absolutely difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Um,
is one of those guys who, if he personalizes it, it's double if he doesn't. He's got a lot of weird things.
which makes no sense. It's stupid.
No,
It's very stupid. Yeah, yeah, that's really it for me. I'm still stoked about the cop from Over the Edge. That's
yeah, there's some great. Where is Crispin Glover? Sean, have you ever tried to get Crispin Glover to do a convention? He would
no,
clean up.
no. Well, here's his deal is if you want Crispin Glover to appear at a convention, you have to play his movie. He has that movie called What Is It, which stars all Down syndrome cast. And then he will do a Q&A about the movie, like an hour Q&A after the film, and then he'll sign afterwards. But that's the only way he will do it. And that's why you don't see him hardly ever. He's an interesting character. I actually, when I was a journalist, I went to his house in Silver Lake and interviewed him. And what an interesting pad. It was a trip.
Yeah, you can watch his interviews to see what a strange guy he is, but boy, would he make. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's put Drizzler in timeout.
Is this Drizzler person?
Drizzler's like 13, and he comes on because he's a Wednesday fan. Wednesday brings out the younger people, and normally Wednesday is here on Wednesday, but he's rehearsing for Sick New World, so he came on Monday. And but when he gets too hyper like that, these kids, they all need the Ritalin and they get the ADD. But I did ask if his mom was hot, and he said he said his sister says his mom is hot, and his mom's like younger than me. We could play FMK with Drizzler's mom.
I will say one thing about Crispin is he has a terrible autograph.
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
I've
seen worse, but it is a strange print thing. But well, we're glad that you love Wednesday, and he'll be back. He had some elaborate plan for something, and I can't remember what it was, but he'll be back, and we'll do more. And we had a great time when we talked about TV themes. I hope we can come up with a cool concept and do, and you guys will come back. Sean, any conventions in Michigan? That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, there's Motor City Comic-Con, there's Motor City Nightmares, there's Motor City Mask Fest.
They like the Motor City. I think he means, or any that you're going to be at, or your clients.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not going to be, as of right now, I don't have anything. We just did, was it 2 weeks ago? Astronomicon. That's also in Michigan. That's run by the guys from Twisted. I had Spencer Charnas there and a few other people. Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. But I didn't go to that one. Who made the Franklin? Oh, I always forget the guy's name. He's an independent artist. He always has a booth. If you go to Horror Hound in Cincinnati, every Horror Hound in Cincinnati, he has those and other cool figures he makes. They're very reasonably priced. They're awesome. They're like, they're about, I would say, 24 inches tall. They're really cool. They're big. Yeah. I'm waiting for him to do a Boo Berry, a Yummy Mummy, and a Fruit Brute.
Yeah, you got a set you're working on.
But then I'm running out of space. Where the hell do I put them? So,
yeah, that's a question that I have, and then I'll let you go. I mean, I haven't been to your palatial estate, but are you running out of space?
Big time.
Does your other half think you're nuts? Well, how does that go?
No, very supportive, actually.
Yeah.
It's very much like, you know what, if it makes you happy kind of thing. Not like my ex, who was,
you didn't get it.
Not digging it.
Does well, you made the right move, obviously. Does she have an area in the house that are just her things? Like, does she have her own, or is it monsters everywhere?
No, she has her own room.
Yeah,
that's all hers. Yeah.
Sure. She can decorate how she wants and doesn't have to see Fruit Brute or Yummy Mummy.
Yeah. But she also feels like that's nothing in comparison to the whole house, which is where my stuff is. Otherwise,
right. But it is cool stuff, and you're like-minded people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she doesn't love this stuff, but she just doesn't mind it. It's more like that. But not supportive. I would say. I mean, honestly, quite often I try to almost give her like talk me out of shit, and she usually doesn't. She's usually like, I'm like, do you think I should do this for this? And like, if you want it, I'm like, all right.
That's a good person to have in your life. Did with your ex? Did you ever feel any of your items might be in danger?
No,
Or it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like they were
no,
gonna.
no. It was just, yeah, it just wasn't supportive of it at all. My habits.
Sean has a great channel. This is a good time to mention his channel, Malfunction. You could search for Sean Clark. Go check out his new content. If you're a fan of The Exorcist, you can watch his 50th anniversary of The Exorcist and see the locations.
You just brought up something, another rant I need to go on.
Mm-hmm.
So I posted that thing right yesterday, the Exorcist episode. I put 50th anniversary. You know how this is what I hate about the internet. These
Mm-hmm.
fucking people, like you said earlier, that know-it-alls. I got so many messages and comments. It came out in 1973. It's not the 50th. You missed it. It's like, bro, first off, it came out December 26th, 1973. It made it in 1973 by like 7 days. Okay. Something like that. Anyway, I'm not good at math. Don't claim to be. But you have to understand the 50th anniversary lasts how long? A year.
You
That
also
goes to
point out,
December 26th, 2024.
right, we were still celebrating. You
Yeah.
also point out that some of the footage was shot a year ago. You say in the video
Yeah.
1 year later. And, but yeah, no, people love to comment. The day where people just, if they hear anything, they have to chime in, and everyone's an expert. I mean, people
Yeah.
tell me things about my business, I'm sure yours as well, that this is what happened. And it's like, how do you know? I was there. It's not what happened. But people love to, they love to, chime in. People, but people do enjoy a good Sean rant. You can watch his channel, him and Academy Award winner Christopher Nelson. They talk about horror and things, but they go into all kinds of subjects too, and you'll get the full Sean rants there.
I do a lot of rants. Yeah.
But it's definitely entertaining. There's a few people who, when they post, I go, okay, I got to watch this. And with Sean, sometimes the locations are not movies I'm incredibly familiar with, but I watch them anyway. I find it more interesting. I find, of course, we want to match up locations to what we remember, but I want to see, how did he get in? How much could he find? Did anyone yell at him? I find those things to be interesting. And the same when I film something, I'm wondering, I think people watch it because they like that real end of it. That will include if something should go wrong.
Well, like one thing that happened, if you watch the Exorcist episode, oh yeah, that was a good. Those people were great.
They were great. Yeah.
Well, thank you, appreciate it. Everscape, that's a buddy of mine. I was having a hell of a time getting a shot going up and down the stairs without some asshole jogging on the stairs, and I made it all the way up without somebody interrupting it, because usually they're jogging up.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was coming down, I was more than halfway down and somebody comes running up. I'm like, and going up and down those stairs is not easy. Like, God damn it. Had to keep redoing it. It was getting my steps in for sure. But I was going to say is the one shot, if you see the one shot I did in New Jersey in front of where the sign for the Behringer Institute was, and it's a rock formation, couldn't really see the buildings behind it. And you're probably wondering why I didn't go around and get a shot of those buildings. The reason why I say it really fast and I'm like, these are the places I come for you, horizontal grounds. And I like jump out of there, right? It's on an incredibly busy highway with no parking. And my friend pulled over so I could jump out and shoot it real quick. And cars are flying by at like 70 miles an hour, honking at them. And I was sitting there stressing that my friend was going to get killed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to get this shot real quick.
I think it was cool that you had that one. Yeah.
there was no place to park around there at all. So
when I was watching your video, I thought, if I went to the Exorcist stairs, you have to go at like 5 in the morning, although people jog early too. But very hard to find the spot when people aren't, and not just because it's a movie location, but because it is a way that people get from one place um,
and there's
to the
no
other.
parking at all in that area. I had to park like a mile away, and then I walked the whole thing. All the locations you see me do in Georgetown, I walked them.
Mhm.
Um, and it's
I think that's the only
it's
way.
far.
Yeah.
I mean, just the spots on the university alone, that's a humongous university. And I
Mhm.
was also doing Exorcist 3 at the same time. So I was having to get even more stuff there. Jack Burton, you're talking about Kurt Russell.
Well,
Never say never.
I feel like one day that guy's going to do a private signing. Michelle collects Tombstone. She likes the movie Tombstone and the
Hmm.
memorabilia associated. And I said, one day I think that guy's going to do Ascendant, where someone will offer him enough money and it'll happen. On
Well,
the
he does these signings for his wine.
Yep,
You know,
he does things. So
yeah.
why not? I always say these celebrities could also donate it to charity. On the Exorcist note, the most controversial thing I say on the show is that I didn't hate the last one. I mean, I'm not trying to say everyone should go see it, but it's for me, it's very difficult to watch a movie at home, and to sit through a movie at home. I'm
I didn't hate it.
constantly, yeah, I was constantly with the phone and this and that. And I said, you know what? I remember when I was a kid, I studied screenwriting, and they tell you to look at your watch when you're bored. If you're watching a movie, make a note of when the movie lost you.
Mhm.
And I watched that movie, and yeah, I don't think it was the greatest thing, but I was entertained more than I expected. But some people were very offended.
Is it a great movie? No. It it's decent. I enjoyed it. I actually went and saw it with Christopher Nelson and Nick Castle. We were at a
Wow.
convention. I don't remember. Oh, wait, where were we? I don't remember where we were. We were at a convention somewhere, and Nick just said, "Hey, let's go see Exorcist." And Chris had obviously seen it a few times. I hadn't
He
seen it
worked
yet.
on it, right?
Well, he did the makeup, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm just like, I'm down, and Chris was like, "Okay, let's go see it." So,
Yeah. No, it's well. Sometimes things like that makes for a fun story, as well. American Werewolf in London is a very popular one of Sean's. Sean, what's the
thank
one
you.
that you think the people resonate with the most?
I don't know. I mean, uh, the that's tough to say, because everybody's different. I mean, the Halloween ones are the ones that put me on the map, but
Yeah.
my Elm Street one has gotten so much love over the years. But I'd say recently, my Clockwork Orange episode is the one that it's creeping up to 100,000 views. It's you know it's that's a strong one, and I worked really hard on that one. Oh, thank you. My Dawn of the Dead one is one of my favorites because I used all that footage of me and my friends from like 1993,
Yeah.
and I put it in with new footage, and that was a labor of love. That was a fun episode to do. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the Prince of Darkness one as well. The one I'm excited about is my Phantasm episode. I've been working on it a long time, and I have some great footage of Reggie Bannister when he took us to the cemetery from Phantasm. So I'm going to be working in some of that, and then when I get around to doing Phantasm 3, I have all this footage we shot on the set of Phantasm 3. So
One of the things I like most about your video, a lot of people who do location videos, there's this sort of competition. I
is
never
there
think like.
is
I
there
feel like
though?
I feel like I feel like people think there is. What I've always said
They
is like
do.
sometimes I say I'm going to go film something, and people will tell you it's been filmed 1,000 times. And the
Yeah.
point that I make is my audience, it might be new to them, and they want to see my perspective of it, and so and because my audience is not just a location audience, more a rock audience that they enjoy when I'm on the road and I get the chance to go somewhere. But what I like about your videos is that you're very upfront about where they are so that people can go see them themselves. Some people's videos will never tell you where it was or how. Your videos, so I can tell you, I've gone places and go, well, let me look up Sean's video so I can make sure I went to the right spot. When we went to do the Halloween locations after the Halloween 45 convention, we just went for fun. We'd all seen them before, but we thought it'd be a fun way to end that celebration. And I said, let's call up Sean's video to remember some of the stuff, because I was trying to remember where the house was originally. We talked about this on the show, the Michael Myers house. And that's when you told the great story about owning one of the steps, one of the
stepstones.
Yeah. And so I like that fun of it. I like that you sort of keep it real. I don't find your videos to be boring. I do find some people drone on and on. When I looked at your Exorcist video and I said this is 25 minutes or something, I go, this is going to be an easy watch. We know he's not going to Iraq, and it's great, and it delivers. And sometimes I remind myself. Some people watch my shows go, man, I love the really long tour diaries where it's an hour and a half, and I get it to an extent, but sometimes I think people look at a video that's manageable and know that they're going to get the information they want. And I think with you, they've grown to expect it. You're not going to put a video out if you couldn't get what you wanted. You know what I mean? Some people go, totally. Look, this is all I could get. And I just don't see you doing that.
Well, that's why I waited a year to go back. Thank you, Andrea. To go back and get the bar, because it makes me crazy to think that I missed something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And The Exorcist is a perfect example of a video that's been done tons of times. Everybody's been to those locations, right? But I was going through watching a bunch of people's videos, skimming them, you know, and the more popular location people. And I'm like, God, nobody was doing the New York locations, right? Everybody was just doing Georgetown. And I was just like, I need to take it to the next level. I need to get the New York locations. I even went to New Jersey to get that one little shot I talked about. And same thing with Exorcist 3. There's New York locations in Exorcist 3 as well. So, you know, I'm trying to get them all. I haven't seen an Exorcist 3 locations video yet, so I'm excited to get that one out.
I haven't either, and I think that's cool. There's one YouTuber, I won't say his name, but and I think some of his content is great, but sometimes he does these videos where he has no idea. I'm going to say one of them was maybe the Hunchback of Notre Dame bell tower, and he said, I think that this is the bell tower. And it was like, you think? There was no proof. And then it was like, and he sometimes does things where it was filmed somewhere around here. Another time he did the Creature from the Black Lagoon Life magazine photo shoot session. It's very interesting. But then he takes you to a body of water, like the reservoir, and goes, and it was somewhere around here. And sometimes, you know who I mean?
I think I do, but
I'll tell you. Okay. But the title will be like, I show you this. And then as the video goes, there's a lot of times, well, it was something like this. And those I hate.
There's one locations guy who I don't know him personally. I've never met him. Oh, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. And it's not Adam the Woo.
I do like Adam the Woo, but
Adam's, you know, but Adam filming locations is a very small part of his content.
That's right.
But this guy I'm talking about that I don't know, he drives me crazy because I'll see, like you said, it'll say the filming location's 4, and I'll look and it's like 30 minutes, and I click on it, and the first 15 minutes is him fucking around, getting ready to go to, and then he goes to like 2 spots.
I don't like
are you kidding me, dude? Really? I mean, and it's crazy how many subscribers that guy has.
He's huge.
He drives me.
He's huge, not just in stature, but his videos are terrible. I don't want to go see someone walk their dog. I don't want to see someone check the mail. you can do that. Adam the Woo could take you around the neighborhood. That's fine, but he'll tell you that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
But if you tell me you're showing me movie locations, and then I got to go to your PO box and I got to meet your friends, I don't want to do it.
You're
It's
100%. You definitely know who I'm talking about,
you
especially
know,
with the walking the dog part.
I
Anyway,
just don't give a fuck. You can make a video about that, and I just wouldn't click on it. But if you're telling me, yeah, and then he'll tell you you're going to see the locations, and then you see one thing, and it's always sort of about this. That same person also went to the whiskey, and he said this is where the Welcome to the Jungle video was filmed. It's not. It wasn't. It's not filmed there. He
yeah.
actually went in and started pointing out this happened here. It's completely wrong, and and look, we all make mistakes, but that was an easy one to fact check.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've made mistakes, and when I do, I definitely own up to them, I try to correct them, but
people in the
but
comments have guessed.
what's that?
People in the comments have guessed two of the names that I was referring to.
Let me
Listen, I
see.
give everyone credit for attempting to have a channel, and obviously, some of these people are very successful at it, especially people who were in it before the pandemic. If you were in YouTube at the beginning, you really were able to build something. One of the things you learn about YouTube is it's not always how great your content is; it's about how consistent you are. You spend more time learning an algorithm than you do about making quality content. Not in your case, Sean. Your content is what stands out. Um, People know if it's a Sean Clark video, it's going to be good. But a lot of people who do boring videos, they're in that algorithm. They know what to do. They know when to upload. And I give people credit. It's not an easy thing.
I don't know. I don't know any of that shit, man. I just wing it. I just do it. Like it's funny is like my Exorcist video. The last time I looked at it today, it was up to like 12,000 views, and I put it up yesterday morning. So that one's cranking. But like 3 weeks ago, I put up my Near Dark video, a video that I think is far better than my Exorcist video, and it hasn't even hit 10,000 yet. It's creeping. It's creeping up to it, but it's like, it's obviously Exorcist, much better known film, but
Yeah, yeah. Look at this chat. Everybody loves Sean. Well, I will say, a lot of my friends who are in the public eye, Sean's a public person. I have not heard anything bad about you except for Tony Moran, but that wasn't personal. It was in a video. And I actually think it was fantastic. The term peacocking will never be the same to me ever
I'm
again.
always peacocking.
Good question. Motel Hell.
I really want to do Motel Hell. Problem is the motel, which is the only thing really in the movie. It's a set, and it's at Sable Ranch, which I've been to Sable Ranch. I went there when I was a journalist. I did a set visit on Devil's Rejects. I want to go to Sable. I want to get on Sable Ranch legally and do a couple episodes, Motel Hell being one of them. There's a few other films that were shot there I really want to do episodes on.
Yeah, that one would be great. So
I say nothing.
Everybody has an opinion. Well, Sean, it's been 2 hours. You got basketball to watch, and
That's true.
I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed Sean being here. It wasn't advertised. Next time he'll come back, we'll talk some more. The first time Sean came on, I asked you all these convention questions. Sean was ready to talk music. He was ready to talk metal. And
I love talking music, man. I mean, that's what I come from. I was in a band, several bands, did a few records, was in that world and was a metal kid, grew up going to shows on the Hollywood Strip in the 80s. So it's definitely a passion of mine, and something I can definitely chat about, but it always seems to move towards movies.
yes, yeah. Well, and people know you for it.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Danny, but Mike, here's the thing. I don't like to consider myself a YouTuber, a vlogger. I hate the term YouTuber. I hate the term vlog.
Influencer is worse.
If I'm going to influence you to do something, it's going to be something else. But I I just, I want to live in the moment. And I want to have fun when I go out. And uh, thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Um, I want to live in the moment and go out and have fun. I don't want to. It's there's been times that I've started to do a video like that when I was at like a Not Scary Farm or
Me
something,
too.
and then I just kind of go, you know what? I'm not having fun. I'm sitting
Mhm.
here trying to do a video, and I feel like a schmuck, and I just want to have a good time. I don't want to force my girlfriend to be in it and this and all. We do the once a year we do our little food thing at the fair. That's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, I
But
love it.
but I don't want to my whole life to be out there everywhere I go. I will say this. I'm considering doing something when I'm in Japan just
Mhm.
because I'm sure I'm going to be bored out of my fucking mind and because
So
it
different.
it's going to be way different. And I've heard about a few cool stores there. I'm just hoping that when I have my downtime that they're open because, I'm going to be working pretty much the whole time I'm there. Um, so there's a couple record stores I want to go to, and there's this really cool store. A buddy of mine, I don't want to give away what it is, but a buddy of mine told me about this cool store that I'm hoping I can go do a little video on. I think that could be fun, but just because it's definitely showing people something different.
Yeah.
Uh, but as far, yeah, I don't like to walk around with a camera. I hate it. I hate having to film at these locations. As soon as somebody starts watching me, I just put it down. I
Me
don't want to be
too.
watched. I just want to have if you notice in the Exorcist video, I'm barely in it. I mean, it's mostly my POV. Um, the one shots in New York when I'm doing Damien Street, that was a weekend of a convention, and it was the morning. It was actually we were at Chiller, and that morning, me and a couple of the girls that work for me got up early, and we drove into the city to get those shots. And since I had them with me,
Was the
I had
deal.
her film me.
I often say that if someone just filmed me, when I was younger, they wanted me to be on the Real World. They were going to bring me into the London season. They wanted me to replace somebody. The guy's name was Jay. He was a playwright. They didn't like him. The thing is, I knew the people in the crew. I
Mhm.
knew the director. It would have definitely been a plant. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it didn't happen. It was very close, though. I mean, we were going to meetings and talking about it. And
Oh
I
wow.
actually went to London. That kind of brought me as a consolation thing. But I'm fine with someone else filming me. I said, if someone wants to, I'll wear a mic, but I hate it too. And I don't want to be the asshole holding the camera. I find that people who watch my tour diaries, most of them say, I enjoy your snarky remarks. So
Yeah.
now I hold the camera this way and I just give my snarky commentary. But I'm the same thing. And we got off the cruise. I filmed this cruise every day. I felt like it was content I couldn't not film. But after 8 days at sea of filming myself and I was bored, and when we went to Disney World right off the boat, and I said, "I'm not taking the phone out. I
Yeah.
want to enjoy a day at the theme park, and I don't want to go, and this is what I ate, and this is what
Well,
I bought."
it's like
Couldn't do it.
2 weeks ago after I think it was 2, 3 weeks ago, after Spookala in Tampa, Nay and I drove to Orlando and we did Disney on Monday night, and Adam the Woo met us there and we hung out on it. None of us were filming. And
Yes,
it was like
private
we were
play.
just enjoying the park.
Yeah,
And I was actually dreading that Adam was going to film the whole thing. And when he said, "Oh, I already shot my video today. I'm not going to shoot anything tonight," it was like a huge relief because I was like, "Wow, we're actually gonna be able to have fun." Because
I
one
thought
thing
that.
is much,
I thought you'd be a video. Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, Adam's a friend, and I actually really like him a lot. But when we're out together and he's filming, it's he's one of these guys you could be standing there, be walking through the park together, talking to him. Yeah, and then I'll turn and look, and he's not there. And I'll look back, and he's like this with his phone, like talking. And I'm like, oh. And
It's
going to
hard to have.
Disneyland, going to a Disney park with him, it's like going, with a rock star. They're getting stopped every few feet because every Disney person knows him.
Well, and I can judge by the amount of people who recognize me and recognize you when we do
Mm.
things, and obviously you and I both have, if it's a horror convention, you're going to know Sean. If it's a hair band concert, you probably have seen my show. And when we went to the Rainbow, all of us, Wednesday included, we were extremely grateful to take pictures and talk to people. There's so much worse things that could happen than be appreciated. But when you're at Disney with someone like Adam the Woo, boy, it could be overwhelming. I want to answer 80s guy's question. He said, "What is the song at the starts of your videos?" In Sean's videos, it's the Heathens, which is Sean's band, was his band. He played on those songs. I love that song. I've used it in a few promos when Sean's going to be on. And mine is a song called "I Just Want to Waste Some Time with You" from my record, Sin City Rejects, and Richie Ramone of the Ramones played drums. I wrote it and played bass on it.
It's
So
funny.
that's
Somebody asked me today what the song is that's the collection video theme.
hmm
That na 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 whatever. And if you look at the credits, it says song by Walter Ego, and it's a joke because it's just something that I wrote that
Oh, nice. I
yeah.
always see the
And
name and I kind of think it's legit. Daryl always comes up with the best FMKs. I'm trying to leave, but this is quality poon, as they
ooh,
say.
oh, this is a good one. This is a
I'm gonna
good
tell
one.
a quick story though. When I was young, my best friend in high school, his younger sisters were friends with Liv Tyler. And when I would go over to the house, they would often be having sort of pajama party type things. And I got to meet Liv Tyler. She was very young at the time, but still a model and
Mhm.
still hot. And I remember we were going to see the Ozzy Osbourne No More Tours tour. That was 30 years ago. um, and but we stopped by the house and there was Liv Tyler in what girls wear to sleep, and it changed my life. I talked to her years later about those experiences. At the time, she was listening to rap music. wasn't re- She was a little rebelling against Aerosmith at that point. But anyway, she's very hot. Kate Beckinsale, Mila Jovovich, and Liv Tyler. All good choices.
I actually, when I was a journalist, I did a set visit on Underworld 2,
Mhm,
and we interviewed Kate Beckinsale on set. She was in full costume and made the full leather. I mean,
mhm,
I'll never forget that moment. We were all sitting, kind of we were sitting in chairs facing like a podium because she did the interview like at a podium on set to all of us, and we're on the set of this big ship, and she comes walking in, and we kind of do one of these like
mhm,
like like holy crap. I remember every dude in the room looked at each other like,
mhm.
whoa, like that. Yeah. And then oddly enough, I also did a set visit on Resident Evil Afterlife, I think it was called. And I interviewed Mila. I also interviewed her for Ultraviolet. Um, she's super cool. I mean, she's really beautiful, but she's really like a very like a dude, like as far as like personality. Like
Right.
she saw me and she looked at my tattoos and she like grabbed my arm, goes, dude, whoa, these are fucking insane. She's like, and I'm just like, hi.
Mhm.
She was super cool. I've never met Liv. Um, but all three very attractive. Um,
What do
I
you
don't know.
do?
I
This is
I
a
don't
tough
know.
one.
I think I take my own life because I can't make a decision. No,
This is
I
a
don't know.
tough one.
That's a
Um,
tough one.
I like Liv a lot, uh, and I think that she could be marriage material. She's probably
I don't
married
kn
to Good Charlotte or something. Or
I don't know any of them personality-wise, really, just
right.
but what I just the little I don't know. I've seen Kate at conventions recently. She still looks great.
hmm
Um, man, that's I
I'm
don't even
torn between Mila and Kate. What to do? Which one to get rid of?
ah, yeah, I mean, if are we talking current day? on
I
all
don't
of
know.
them?
That's a good question. I think we are. So we've got to factor in that they've got kids and
If
some of
we're
them.
talking current day, I think it's Mary Kate. Wow, I don't know on that.
It's hard to get rid of one.
I know. I think I would F Liv and get rid of Mila. But if we're talking about back in the day on them, I'd mix it up a little bit. I mean, Return to Blue Lagoon Mila was insane.
I auditioned for that. I auditioned for that movie. I forgot another
To play
ridiculous
a
question.
fish? What were you?
So I had an agent, and they would send you on these ridiculous casting calls, and if you got to the next round, you got to swim.
Mhm.
And I had to swim. I swam with a bunch of model chicks, and it was a great day. Nothing came of it, and to be honest, I think it was a bullshit publicity casting. More, I think they knew who they wanted for these parts. But I did get to swim at the 92nd Street Y in New York. Crazy what these stories come back.
Wow, that's nuts.
This is the toughest one ever. I mean, maybe Kate's British accent would get on my nerves after a while. Although I do like an English accent.
Mhm.
I don't know. Let me thank some people. Thank you. Thank you. And
Thank you, Donnie.
thank you. Doctor Ron Jeremy, of course, only awake long enough to watch the show. Then he goes back into a coma. Alive too,
thanks.
Sean. You're fucking awesome, bro. Been a fan for a long time.
Thank you, Alive too.
Which is great. And
somebody asked if I'm a Motley Crue fan. I was a massive Crue fan back in the day. Massive. Still like them.
He opened the original leather copy, and people were so angry with you. They were so upset that you spun an original leather album.
Yeah.
Okay, this was a long one. I had to proofread it. Sometimes when someone says something, I got to proofread it. Sean, you seek balance because you still have a lot to offer through your art. You don't, nor will settle for mediocrity. Mediocrity. Thank you. He's educated too. You are inspiration. Prepare for greatness. All right. Well,
Papa Z. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very nice.
I put, the reason I don't do many videos is because I really work on them. So, that's why they're few and far between.
I'm sitting on a phone full of content, years of content.
Dude. I've got this right here filled with content. So I just need to edit.
Should Steven retire? Which I don't see it happening now. But if he should, I got a lot of stuff to release. I'll be right back to work.
I say, some of these guys definitely should. Steven still sounds good. He still looks good. I don't think he needs to. There's for every Steven, there's 10 Don Dawkins out there that probably should have hung it up a long time ago.
100%. If you watch the show, it's the full show of the Lava Cantina, this last one that we did with Steven, his voice was on, everything was better. Blas was great. It was really, and it was the first time Planet Week as we rearranged it. But boy, it went great, and I was glad it was documented. Sean, do you still curse the state from Hellraiser in your house? Am I saying that right?
I'm assuming they're talking about the Pillar of Souls.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know what you mean. Do I still curse it? I mean, it was a pain in the ass to get in the house.
Everyone's asking about music stuff. We could sit here and talk about that, but I'm sure Sean will come back because
this is my last appearance on the show.
Yeah. You guys have finally went we finally went too far. Anyway, I thank everyone for watching. Check out Malfunction, subscribe. I like that we are able to, I've gotten a lot of fans from Sean's channel, and a lot of people who watch this went to his. It's great to have that kind of community. At the end of the day, we all sort of love the same stuff, and we also love to talk pop culture and have a good time. Someone asked if we'd heard the Marilyn Manson record. I know Wednesday's heard it, and he says it's very good. Yeah, he's heard it. So,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm a fan. Too. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. His last one was pretty good.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I'm not a massive fan. I appreciate
yeah,
him and I appreciate what he does, but I think that the canceling stuff is nonsense.
yeah.
You know, Evan Rachel Wood dated Mickey Rourke before him. I mean, come on. If he's grooming you, and if you didn't know who he was at that point, he'd already written books, and it just all seemed ridiculous. I hate to blame someone who's a victim. I never would do that. But in that story, it just seems weird. I don't like canceling someone also who hasn't been convicted of a crime. Um, you know, it all was shady, and I'm glad. The only problem I have with Marilyn Manson is that he's opening for Five Finger Death Punch. But you can leave
Uh,
early. You could leave early. You could leave
yeah,
early.
I don't know why he's doing that, but
Somebody told me he's trying to take the pressure off of him. He was scared that if he was headlining, then maybe there would have been protesting or it would have been harder to sell it, and that it was easier just to jump on someone else's
well,
package. I don't.
he's no stranger to protesting. I remember the first time I went and saw him on the Mechanical Animals tour. There were so many Christian groups outside with signs and picketing, and
It only helps. Yeah. Last question for Sean. Any new podcast episodes dropping soon?
um, did just record one a few days back. A follow-up episode to the convention episode I did with the other three agents. We did a follow-up episode. Um, quite honestly, I haven't started editing it yet. I figured I would probably get to it on the plane on the way to Calgary,
Mhm.
but I just kind of felt like it wasn't that great. I mean, when I watch it back, I may have a different opinion, but I don't feel. I feel like in the first episode, we really had focus on topics, and we were really uncovering stuff fans never knew and were interested in, and we got a lot of positive feedback. This time, I felt like we were more complaining to each other about stuff we've been dealing with within the business and not really so much giving the fans a behind the scenes um, of the things they liked about the first episode.
Mhm.
So I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how much of it I'll keep in. Hell, I may even watch it and say, I don't want to put this out. I don't know. As far as thing with two heads proper with Chris, I know he just left to start working on a film, but it's a short shoot. I think he's going to be getting back soon, but then I'm gone to Calgary and then directly to Japan like 2 days later. So I'm going to be kind of out of commission for about 2 weeks. So I don't know. I don't know when he and I are going to get back on track with a new episode, but we definitely, it's been a while for us. I think the last one we did was the Jamie Kennedy one. It's been a little while. So
Yeah. Well, you subscribe to his channel and you'll get the notification. Sean, thanks for coming and hanging out. I appreciate it. It's always boring sitting here myself. Always happy to have you on and find time to chat. I would have had the same conversation with Sean on the phone or in person. So
hmm.
we might as well have you guys watch. All right. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Malfunction, and we'll see you both all again soon. Thank you.